Hi Huskies. Hey, this week's art activity is to create a picture using things found in nature. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I used in my example. I went outside and I went exploring around in my yard. So I was looking for things like rocks of different sizes or colors. I used some sticks, pine cones I found in my yard, even picked up a few little dandelion blossoms, especially leaves that I found of different sizes and shapes that made it very interesting as well. So one of the things I did want to point out though, if you're exploring how to, put a picture together using objects like this, it's really important that you check with an adult to make sure that what you're considering using is safe for you to handle, okay? So this would be a really great activity to do as a family. So I know that the weather's supposed to be really great this week. So if you're outside working in the yard, you can offer to help or maybe go for a family walk. That would be a really good time to be maybe looking for some of the things that you could use in your art activity because you'd have an adult to check with, okay? So let me show you the example that I came up with. I had so much fun creating this puffer fish picture. You know, a couple of weeks ago we went to outer space, and this week I thought it might be fun to go under the sea. So my little puffer fish here, you can see he's very round. He looks a little bit different than some fish that we often see. Fish like this that we see, maybe sometimes we even draw from the side and we see their fins and so forth. This little guy doesn't always look like this, but when he senses some danger or a predator coming, he fills up with some water and air sometimes, and he puffs up his body like that, and all these little spiky things come out to help protect him. So I thought he's so fun looking. I thought it would be just something different to do, a different type of fish. And you can see here some of the other things that I did in my picture. I just had different types of leaves. It worked out really great because I had some bushes that needed to be trimmed. So I wasn't just going and picking, things without thinking about it. These were some things that I actually in my yard had needed to do some trimming, and a few little weeds were really perfect to use. And then of course this when I was picking up sticks in my yard, I was helping out Mr. Skippers before he mows by picking up some sticks. So I want to show you how we're going to draw the blowfish because he's actually super simple. What took a little bit of time was just breaking up my sticks and just, getting them glued on all the way over the body. So I'm going to take this out of the way here. I'll bring this back when we're done drawing so we can talk a little bit more about some of those details before we finish up. But what we're going to do is we're basically going to have a circle for a body, but when we do that, I'm not going to draw the whole circle first. I'm going to start by having my upside down curve, kind of like the curve of a rainbow, and then I'm going to leave a little bit of space on each side, so that way I'll be able to put my fins in there and not have to overlap. So I'll start with my upside down curve here, and then once I've got that done, I'm going to come back underneath, leaving that little bit of space, and that way I can attach those fins and it won't look quite so much like it was an afterthought. It looks like I really planned that out. And then see how I just added some little wavy lines on the side so it looks like he's swimming. Now, that's really about as much as I did with the drawing part because I used some rocks on mine. You can choose to even just draw this if you want. Give him some really nice big fun eyes and some eyeballs and maybe a big open mouth, sort of a sideways oval. I think that looks kind of cool. And you can also do it that way. You don't have to do it with rocks, but I did think it made it kind of cool because it made it, have a little bit more texture and more detail like the other things. If you want to add any detail to the little fins, you could do something like that. And that's a pretty easy thing to do, and then the rest will just be covered with the sticks. The other thing that you're going to want to add down here is a line that will make it look like the ocean floor. And I'm just going to come down here and sort of give this just a wavy line. And this would be then where I would start building with some of my plants. And I'm going to pull my example back up here because you can see on mine, I have little pieces of kind of maybe look like coral. I added some little flat rocks that worked really well, to sit nice and flat on my paper. I've got my little dandelion blossom here for the top of a jellyfish. And you can see here on these little fish, these long skinny leaves were kind of fun to make the body. And then I had little tiny leaves for the fins, and then I glued little tiny rocks for eyes. Same thing over on this guy, just a different size and a different shape to my leaf to make it a little bit bigger. And then I just came in and detailed it with a pen, making some wavy lines to look like some ripples or waves in the water, a few little bubbles coming up from my fish, and even a few little dots down here on the sandy bottom of the ocean floor, just to kind of fill it in with a little bit of detail. Super easy, didn't take a ton of time. Like I said, I felt like maybe this is what took the most time because I chose to glue mine. You don't have to glue yours if you don't want to. It's really mostly about getting it all arranged on your paper in a way that you really like it. I just knew that by picking mine up to show you, I might lose some pieces if I didn't have it stuck down. So I did use liquid glue in order to get my pieces to stick on there. So that's optional if you'd like to. You may even choose to do something other than a pufferfish. There's so many different kinds of sea creatures that you could come up with. An octopus or a crab or a whale. There's so many different things. So what's most important is that you're being creative and having fun. So make sure you check with an adult as you're looking for your objects, and most importantly, have fun. Good luck.